You're listening to the Joint Sermons on the Push Media Podcast Network.
As Pope? Yeah. I'd like to be Pope. That would be my number one choice.
I wish that was a joke, but it's not. That's Donald Trump when asked, who would you like to be Pope? And he said he wants it to be him. Hey, as an atheist, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it's just terrible. Like, I don't know. It's
stupid. And then he posts AI-generated pictures of himself as
a
Pope.
Right.
And then when he's asked, he says, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? Now, let me ask you something. First of all, I don't think anyone's allowed to touch his social media accounts except him because he's weird.
Or that little Nazi collaborator, Stephen Miller.
I actually think Stephen Miller posts on his behalf sometimes because some of the phrasing and wording he writes, I'm like, that was you. Because Trump don't talk that way, but Stephen Miller does.
Because it's not rambling, incoherent bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, Stephen Miller actually is articulate with his hate and can put together a coherent sentence with his hate. You know what I mean? So it's like, judge it. But is Trump just lying or gaslighting or stupid or senile or?
Yes, to all of them. You know what I mean?
I don't think he's senile. I just think he's gaslighting everybody and doesn't care.
Yeah. And I mean, who's going to push back?
Well, apparently not MAGA voters who are still standing by this guy.
Imagine like watching all this shit play out and still being like, yeah, I voted for that.
Yeah, that was the right choice, though. First of all, and I am not saying Kamala was the right choice because she was dumb as hell and the bad choice. She was not at all anyone's choice, to be honest. No one voted for her to be the nominee. Not a single person in both elections. So that's not it. But they should have ran someone who could possibly run.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if they want a chance, I'm going to say what I said last time. You're out of luck because I would say before, you got to find someone more towards the center because any too far left, you're not going to get that with this guy. You're going to have to attack him from the center. But now it's not because he says he wants to be president in 2028 and people are backing that up. And he says maybe they'll find a way.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I always said liberals are just centrist Republicans. And look what they did. They rolled out Liz Cheney, for Christ's sake. And it's like, big shocker. Democrats slow walk fascism. And here we are. They put this moron in a position to be like, I'm going to open Alcatraz because it's a good idea. What?
It doesn't make any sense. Well, you know what's funny? He was in Florida, right? At his Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
And apparently Escape from Alcatraz, the movie, played that night.
Yeah.
A few hours before he posted that. And people are like, hold on, not joking, but is it possible that he watched the movie? And and as funny as that sounds, I'm like, well, did he?
I mean, he was probably up all night, like sniffing Adderall and was just like, this is a great documentary. What's the name of it?
Who knows? And I'm not being funny. You know, when you're a kid, you watch a movie and you're like, and you go outside and play and pretend to be that character in the movie, maybe. Yeah. That's what he's doing. Like, who hasn't pretended when they're a little kid our age to go, like, be Rambo or something? You know what I mean? Like, you played like that. But this dude, it's possible.
Yeah. I mean, he's that dumb. You know what I mean? Like, it's that scary.
And if he's that dumb, what about the people that voted for him?
Yeah. Well, he said he likes low-information voters, and he himself is a low-information voter.
Yeah, and that means everyone who voted for him is a stupid idiot. And if you support them, you curl up in a own ball and fellatio yourself. That's what happens.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, they got their little wish.
Cuddlingus. What is self-cuddlingus? Because that's what they do.
I don't know. Ask MTG.
Like it's weird.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I just can't imagine giving a fuck about a politician this much. Like that's your whole identity. That's what your thing is. Like you're like, yeah, this is me now. Get a fucking hobby.
I mean, not every election, but in a lot of elections, I will have a preference. Where I prefer this person or whatever, right? Or this policy stance or whatever. Not every one of them.
Yeah.
But I don't worship them. Nor do I think they're perfect. I don't think they're perfect. Nor do I even agree, even if I'm like, that person's my preference. At most, I would say you could maybe agree with 60, 65, maybe 70% of what they say. How do you possibly agree with 100% of what someone says?
You're in a cult.
Well, do you agree with everything your wife says? I don't.
No.
Vice versa, she doesn't agree. Are you kidding? That's
Absolutely
stupid.
not. Yeah. I mean, that's Absolutely
not. Are you kidding? That's
Absolutely
stupid.
not. Yeah. I mean, the people that are just so blindly following him, ironically call everybody else sheep. And it's like, you can't see the forest through the trees. Like, take a look in the mirror. Like, imagine supporting this guy and being like, yeah, he's going to do all this great shit. Name one material condition that he's changed since he's been in office.
Well, it depends on what your priorities are. Getting rid of
Well,
brown people might be a priority. And you're like,
well,
heck yeah, he did that.
that
He
kind
put
of is the
he put
thing.
lawn signs with their faces on the front lawn of the White House. It almost feels like Juden posters or slave auction advertisements. It just feels bad. Like, what is going on?
Because it is bad.
And we stand by. And
Yeah.
you see this beef he's having with 60 Minutes and CBS.
Well, and they had just said that the FCC chairman said that they could pull their license. Like, are you
Yeah,
serious? Like, we're going state media, huh?
But kudos to 60 Minutes specifically going, nah, go ahead, do it then. And they keep calling him out, calling it to his face. Good for them. That's what you're supposed to be. A good reporter should challenge leaders.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It doesn't mean be some immature, disrespectful brat and ask stupid questions like, oh, I got you. Like, shut up. It means ask those questions. And if he lies while you're interviewing him, that's
Call him
not
out.
true.
Exactly.
That is not true. That you don't have to even say you're a liar. You just say that is not true. Just like with the tattoos. The guy has MS-13 tattoos, and the guy goes, this is an ABC guy, goes, those were Photoshopped. No, they weren't Photoshopped. Yeah, they were. Because when he met the senator after that, there's no tattoos. Like, where are they?
Yeah.
And it's not like they would cover him up for him because they want him to look like MS-13.
Yeah.
This guy, dude, you repeat the lie enough, everyone's going to believe it.
Yeah. And we all know who said that. So,
well, the law requires that every single person who is going to be deported gets a hearing first.
Well,
do you acknowledge that?
I'll have to ask the lawyers about that. All I can say is this. If you're going to have 21 million people, and if we have to get a lot of them out because they're criminals, we're going to have to act fast. We can't. Do you think we can give 21 million trials? Let's say each trial takes 2 weeks. Is that what you want us to do?
The law
give
is the law, sir. The law is the law, and you're
the law
sworn
doesn't
to
say anything
uphold it.
about trials.
No, not trials. Hearings. I said
These
hearings.
people came in. They're not citizens. They came in illegally. They came into our country illegally.
And
we have to get them out.
Well,
Now, here's the thing. Trump is a broken clock in this situation, meaning right twice a day. Yeah, they were here illegally. They snuck in. They didn't follow the rules. So they should go back and do it legally. Yes, fine. Absolutely. No beefs. But because they're here illegally doesn't mean they don't have rights. They're humans. They have basic human rights still. And if we're going to believe anything that our country says, even though the Constitution, it was heavily faulty when it was written, I believe it's a living document, meaning it evolves and you can change it. You don't have to, throw everything away and start fresh all the time. We have rights. We have basic human rights here. God-given rights, right? Isn't that what it says?
yeah. And I mean, it addresses this succinctly. And says person, not citizen. And it doesn't have, there's no qualifiers about what that person was, like how they're in the country. It just says a person. And they specifically wrote it like that because of people like Trump.
And the also, thing is, those people weren't stupid people when they wrote it. They're not, they, as faulty as they were, like slave ownership and all that, they weren't stupid people. They weren't. They were also very educated, like Jefferson and Adams and all. Those were articulate. And Adams, by the way, never owned slaves and was absolutely against it from the beginning. Fought it tooth and nail. Fought it tooth and nail until the day he died.
The one thing that kills me about this MAGA shit and like, illegal immigrants. We got to protect our borders. And then Trump says, when he's talking about Canada, it's an invisible fake line drawn in the sand. So what is it? Either borders exist or they don't. So tell me which is it? Because if you're saying the Canadian border doesn't exist, then neither does the border with Mexico. So what are we doing here? And that's the duality of MAGA that I just cannot take. It's because you're bitching about one thing.
White people and Mexico's brown people.
But it's still, that's like, you can't, they'll never give you a straight answer on that. Be like, do borders exist? Well, yeah, but the southern border, what's the difference? And that's it. That's the crux of it. You're right. It's because they're brown.
It's literally a skin color.
Yeah, absolutely.
I cannot pick another reason. I'm just saying there is no difference.
There is, like, that's the thing. There's no, they are so inherently racist that even when you call them out, they're like, I'm not racist. Yes, you are. Every bit of your policy is racially
racist.
motivated. Like, I mean, dude, they rolled back desegregation policies for the Department of Education. Why? Tell me why. Give me one specific reason that isn't based on pure racism. It's disgusting. I cannot stand these assholes.
And everyone who supports them is literally racist.
Yes, absolutely. At this point,
if you support
100%.
him doing racist things, you are a racist. You can come fight me if you don't like that. You are a racist.
Yeah. There's nothing else you can say about it.
And again, I'm willing to bet almost all these people are evangelicals.
Yeah.
With their faulty made up congregation.
Yeah.
Faulty made up religion.
And I mean,
we're made it up, do it themselves, snake oil charmers. These guys are the most faulty inbred people. I'm going to go off on again. These are the most inbred, self-fellatio cuddlingest people I've ever seen in my life. These people are dumb. They might be dumber than Mormons.
Yep. And what's crazy
Mormons are racist.
Yeah.
I don't mean every individual one has racist beliefs or
the church.
Those, but the church is racist. And they always were. Because how they didn't allow black men to, hold the priesthood and all that. And whatever, if you have a religion, whatever. But when it's based off of skin color and it was openly based, you're racist.
Yeah.
And then God changed his mind.
Yeah. What was it, 73, 4, something like that?
In the 70s. God changed his mind.
Yeah.
Just like God changed his mind about multiple wives when the Congress of the United States says, you can't be a member of the union with having polygamy. Oh, by the way, God told us no more polygamy. So are we good? Yeah, we're good. What? So one, it shows you don't even believe what you believe because you're just willingly able to just change whatever. I mean, if God told me to wear pink nail polish, I guess I have pink nail polish on. If he actually said that to me and you said you can't wear any pink nail polish, well, that's too bad because God himself said to me personally to wear pink nail polish and therefore I'm wearing it. Too bad. I wouldn't change my mind for you if I actually believed that was actually literally true.
Yeah.
They're fake. It's
they run a whole
religion.
state.
There is no church but the Holy Roman Catholic Church. Period. I don't care. I don't care what you think about it here. There isn't.
I don't think about church. So
I know.
You're good.
God bless you. But no, I'm serious. Hey, speaking of church, are you all ready for your quote? For some reason, state-funded Catholic churches or Catholic schools?
Nah, look, nope.
Let me say this.
Nope.
As a Catholic, no. Slippery slopes are slippery. State funding means control. Yeah. I don't want to do I want Donald Trump, Pope Trump III, being in charge and saying, well, I've given you money. Yeah. So you have to teach this or say this.
Bend the knee.
Absolutely not. And what's funny is no one's asked for that. Isn't that funny? Why are you talking about being Pope and also saying we're going to fund Catholic schools? No one's asked you to.
I mean, if somebody that was like, me, that doesn't believe in God or whatever, was making these kinds of jokes, all of these people would be up in arms and they would be calling me a heretic and all this other bullshit.
Evangelicals would be against you joking about the Pope.
Listen, and that says a lot. And it's funny to me because they can watch their dude do it and be like, oh, it's fine. And then did you hear when he was like, oh, are they mad about it? And that just means they can't take a joke. This fat fuck, if you say anything about him, he has ICE show up at your door, the FBI, and be like, did you make a joke about Donald Trump? I was watching a comedian.
That's coming to Texas, by the way. The governor said they're going to have laws about mocking people like that.
Because that's definitely not against free speech.
But by the way, shout out to the person who calls him Governor Hot Wheels. That's fantastic.
Hey, listen, it's a shout out Jasmine Crockett. I'm not a big lib fan, but she cooked them, and it's so funny because people are like, and this is how MAGA is just so racist because I've seen it where they call her ghetto and all this shit. It's like, just say it, just say the N word. You want to say it. Oh, just
roll
say
out the hard R. If you're referring to a black person, especially a member of Congress, you're like, oh, they're so ghetto. All right, just say the hard R. That's what you want to say. Go ahead.
Say it. You know what?
We have freedom of speech. Say
exactly.
the hard R.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Do it. Stop being a coward. Live
Now,
on
I
your
believe
principles.
fully in freedom of speech. I don't believe there should be any restrictions to it. Clearly, there are laws that protect you, protect people, and there's consequences against free speech. Like, I can't go around and threaten to kill you verbally, even though that
Right.
is speech. It's not protected because it's a threat. So,
Right.
our laws cover those things, but also there's consequences.
Right.
Like, you're allowed to be racist. You're allowed to not like blacks, Mexicans, Chinese, Greeks, Irish, whatever. You're allowed to. You're allowed to say that out loud.
Yeah.
But the consequences, and you're not going to go to jail for that, but the consequence is if one of them break your jaw, that's the consequence.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, just,
So say it with conviction if that's what you mean.
Exactly. And that's the thing. People just, they're so disgusting with it. Like, just stop hiding being racist. You know what I mean? Your leader's not. Your leader is openly racist all the time, to the point where you're just like, this dude is off his shit. And you're like, oh, he's joking. And I loved it how pressed they got when a black woman had the audacity, to call this piece of shit Governor Hot Wheels. And then everybody was upset about it. Weren't you the people that were like, oh, the mean tweets are coming back, I can't wait? Well, guess what? Somebody actually had the balls to make fun of your guy, and now you're upset? Stop
This is
being
the
a
same people
snowflake.
that laughed and still deny that he mocked a handicapped reporter.
Yeah, which is legitimately on camera. And it's crazy
That's
because
what
I
bothers
remember.
me. That was before AI, by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh, yeah, boy. Yeah, he did it multiple times. And it's like, come on, listen. If you grew up in the 80s, you knew exactly what that meant, because
Yes,
that's what
yes,
shit, that's,
yes.
and listen, every kid that is our age, that grew up in the 80s knows exactly what he was mocking when he was doing that, because
Well, the thing
probably
is,
we all did it as a
the
kid.
way we used it as a kid in the 80s is like like we didn't think you were like actually retarded. But if you did something stupid, you're like,
Yeah.
and that was it. You weren't
Right.
actually mocking retarded people. You were mocking that person.
Right.
At the same time, also not actually calling that person retarded. It was just a thing.
Right. Yeah.
By the way, there
So-
was a retarded kid at our elementary school. And this is before, I guess, they had those special ed classes for him or whatever. But so he was in one of our classes, and he did that to someone once in class who got up and then got caught lying about the homework or whatever in front of the whole class and got called out on it and was told to walk to the office. And when he walked past that kid, the kid goes, then we all lost it. And I think my teacher lost it, Mr. Carroll. I think he lost it too. Because it was like, okay, that was funny. That was funny.
right.
The
I mean,
retarded kid just called you a retard. Like, it was
Context matters. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah. Well, again, same with the jokes. Tell your race joke. If you're being racist, we'll be able to tell. If you're being funny, we'll be able to tell
yeah.
because we'll laugh. Get over it. But no, these people are afraid of Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's what we're at. We're headed there. And that was me being racist. But that's where we're headed.
I don't think
North
we're headed.
Korean
We're
propaganda.
there.
Well, you're right. We are there.
Ken?
President, your first 100 days has far exceeded that of any other presidency in this country, ever.
What?
I
That
think-
was the Attorney
come
General,
on.
by the way.
I know.
That's the same Attorney General, the current Attorney General. Boy, she's ugly, by the way. Too much makeup. The current Attorney General, who also said that ICE doesn't need a warrant to go into your house,
Yeah.
who's praising Donald Trump. What in the hell is going on? Send all emails about my North Korean hate slander to yourselves. I don't care. I don't like North Korean leaders. So too bad. But that's where we're at.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, imagine having an ego so fragile that you have to get a bunch of people that just you handpicked kiss your ass.
Yes.
Like,
Well, that's all it is. None
what
of
a
these
sensitive little bitch, dude.
So it's funny you say that. I went through the cabinet and I was like Googling them just briefly. I'm
Yeah.
not really doing deep research. A handful of them are probably qualified to be in the role that they're in, right? But they're probably still a kiss ass somewhere. But most of them, Pam Bondi, who was the Attorney General of Florida, but she's there to break whatever law he wants.
Yeah.
Then you got Kennedy and Dr. Oz and all these different people where I'm like, you're there as a puppet to do exactly what he wants. You are not qualified.
Yeah. Well, and that's what he learned from his first administration. That he was like, oh, I got to pick yes men. You know what I mean?
Speaking of yes men, did you see the Secretary of Defense has announced that he has ordered the Pentagon to fire at least a minimum
20%.
of 20% of the top 4-star generals?
Yep. I
Here's the
just saw
thing.
that on the news this morning.
4-star generals
Yeah.
take decades to get there. Decades of experience and training and experience and training and experience and training and experience. And the military is one of those jobs where I don't know if any other jobs actually consistently train constantly for their exact job they already hold constantly. Right?
Maybe
Their
nurses.
experience. They've dealt with different administrations from different political parties, senators, everybody else. They do it. They have the experience. He wants yes men with stars on their
absolutely.
shoulders.
That's
that
exactly what he
that are
wants.
going to march to his rules, whatever he says. Maybe they'll march in the new birthday parade he's given himself. A military birthday parade with missiles and stuff.
That's awesome. Like that's
Cool.
That's super chill. How's healthcare coming? How's the infrastructure
That
deal?
is super communist.
That's shitty
No, it's
wishes.
communist.
No, it's just authoritarian, and that's exactly what he's doing.
So communism is authoritarian. Okay.
No,
Here
you conflated
we go.
it with communism.
Here we are.
Come on, give it to me. Come on, say the.
That was
say
a
the
shout
phrase,
out to
Bart.
the Philly captain, by the way, on YouTube. Here we are. And then he just drives around or rides around on his scooter showing you parts of Philly. Guy's rough, seems like a scrapper. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You gotta go look him up, the Philly captain on YouTube. Here we are. And sometimes it'd be like in a mall, and it's like, this mall has got no more shops in here. That's right where I used to get lingerie for my girlfriend in 12th grade. Right there is Victoria's Secret. Now it's gone.
That's the most Philly thing I've ever heard in my life.
And then somebody honked at him once in the street, and he's like, okay, keep honking. You ain't special. Like, he just doesn't get, it's the great, and he's not bothered. He just keeps going. It's just the greatest thing. I would like to meet that man and high five him. Like, he's just entertaining. Because he actually seems harmless. He just seems like, I'm out enjoying life. Too bad I make money doing this. You suck. I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these people are afraid of him. Now now the ICE director wants to arrest governors and mayors.
Seems legit. There's probably, a good reason for that. What's the reason?
Oh, well,
behind
so
it?
if you're a sanctuary city, which, by the way, sanctuary cities are technically breaking federal law by not following federal laws that are enforced and considered to be true. Okay? Invalid. So that is true. However, states' rights, which I am a proponent of, states' rights, because I don't believe we are a full federal country. I believe we are a union of 50 independent states, which is why they all have their own constitution, their own leadership, their own Congress. 50 independent member states. We have state rights. And most of our constitutions even say we can tell you to pound sand and we're no longer part of the federal government. That's true. So, but the Republicans are supposed to be states' rights people, and they got this guy because if you harbor an immigrant, and at this point they're going to be harboring immigrants that are not necessarily even illegal, which that will still be true, but they're going to harbor people because people are running to those cities to hide because they're terrified.
Yeah.
But here he is.
So, the president signed an executive order just this week threatening to defund sanctuary cities for their policies. Why not just arrest the leaders who are harboring and shielding illegal aliens, actually terrorists, from deportation?
Wait to see what's coming.
So
he said, wait till you see what's coming.
Yep.
And who's the cuck of a reporter that says, why don't we just arrest the leaders?
Now, I'm sure he was one of the handpicked morons to ask the
Do you
dear
think he
leader
was
questions.
one of these social media people like Tim Pool?
Probably. Tim
Pool sits in his little. This guy grifted everyone, by the way. Tim Pool lived in South Jersey, right, when he started, and he did one of those GoFundMe type things to raise money for a studio, so he can better get the information out there. And all these people, they donated $2 million. So he took the $2 million, all legally, by the way, because they did give it to him, and he did do with it what he said, and went to West Virginia, where $2 million goes a ton further, and bought a massive compound, including that one that he built a skate park and all this stuff, and built his, quote, studio. And now lives there wealthy because he grifted these people.
Yep.
But he still did what he said. It was for a studio and a skate park and a compound and acreage.
What did you see who they had in the in the office or in the press briefing? The black dude with dreads. Yeah, I can't remember. It had Dom something or other.
First of all, they didn't ask those questions. Those were fed to them.
Right, but also go look up why that dude got banned from Twitter, and then you'll see how disgusting these people are.
I don't want to. I don't
No,
think any of them are worth looking up.
Well, let's just
Is he
say
another black Nazi?
No, oh God, no, worse. He reposted child porn and he got booted off of Twitter for it. And then they came back.
Wow.
And yeah. And then Captain Space Nazi was like, oh, well, he actually didn't repost it. He reported it. It's like, dude, he shared screenshots with his watermark embedded on it. And that's who they brought to the wall.
First of all, how could you even look at that long enough to take the time to put your screenshot on top of it? Your watermark.
You got me. But you know what?
First of all, I'm not saving that to my computer.
Yeah, MAGA went to him and they were just like, oh, yeah, he's a black guy with dreads and he's on our side. It's like, holy shit. Are you serious right now? Come on. That's Chomo shit. Like, that is.
Yeah, that's exactly what
busted out. Like, no.
But, not only is Trump and his supporters a threat to us internally, they're a threat to the world order. And it's relatively peaceful. It's never going to be fully peaceful. It's we're not at a world war, right? That's good. I mean, the United States isn't actively having a war on our borders. That's good. He didn't have any wars in his first term. That's good. But no one's going to have to fight a war against us. They're going to watch us collapse. Yeah, this is the newly elected Canadian Prime Minister.
We are once again at one of those hinge moments of history. Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over. The system of open global trade, anchored by the United States, a system that Canada has relied on since the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped deliver prosperity for a country for decades, is over.
Jesus.
That's profound for the Prime Minister of Canada to say that about us.
Yeah. I mean, they were just chilling, playing hockey, getting maple syrup, minding their business. And old orange dipshit showed up and was just like, I think I'm going to make this the 51st state. That's hilarious. Governor Trudeau. Yeah. How'd that work out? Great. He's destroying our economy because he thought his jokes were funny.
It's a power grab.
Of course it is.
I mean, he's going to power grab Alcatraz to put, quote, illegal immigrants there, but he means brown people, so they can't escape. Because if you can't deport them with trials, well, I'm not deporting them. They're just being held here. You see, that's going to happen.
Yep.
And no one's going to care because it's out of sight. You can't even see or hear them. They're on Alcatraz, blah, blah, blah. That's going to happen. Then he wants the Gulf of America, which is not a real thing, actually.
No.
It's not an actual thing. It's not like it's not. You're stupid and you're retarded if you believe that. You're stupid. You fellatio yourself in a ball with your feet next to your shoulders. Like, that's what you do. Anyone who voted for Donald Trump self-fellatios themselves or cunnilingus, whatever. Pick your gender. Yeah. Literally, that's what they do. These are stupid inbred paste eaters who have Mountain Dew to wash it down. This is who they are. They're stupid people. They're all evangelicals and stupid. But he wants Panama Canal. He wants, was it Greenland or whatever? This guy's nuts, but he's telling you out loud what he wants, and everybody's like, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
And the only people that we got backing us up is China and Russia. And China is like, yo, hold on. You're ruining the economies. What are you doing?
Listen, if this was going on in any other country, the United States would be the first to decry it's not a democracy, it's a dictatorship, and CIA agents would have been on the ground 6 months ago, laying groundwork to get rid of them.
Looking for oil.
Yeah, exactly.
That's another thing. Why are we going backwards and still looking like wanting to use coal and opening up more coal mines? And now he wants to he signed an executive order to use half the national forest for logging purposes. And then once they're there, then we could just get oil out of them.
I beg you people to look up the Dust Bowl, please, for the love of God.
They don't know what that is. They don't understand that. Again, excuse me, Doc, I apologize. I know you're retarded a little bit. So I'll explain it easily. See, these people won't look up the Dust Bowl because they're retarded. They're stupid. They self-fellatio themselves. Or cunnilingus, pick your gender. That's what they do. They support this nonsense. And they're the first ones that are going to lose everything because, ironically, it's their states that use most of the services. Isn't that ironic, though? That it is literally, this is not made up. Go figure it out yourselves. These red states are the states that use most of the services.
Yeah, they're the welfare states. Like without
SNAP and Medicaid and welfare in general. Even the Obamacare stuff. It's mostly red states because blue states have their own versions of kind of stuff. They're stupid.
Yeah.
These are stupid people. Fellatio.
I mean, California just beat what we're up to like the 4th biggest economy in the world right now.
It's been that way for a while. Since I was born, it's been that way. These people are.
They were 5th. We're 4th now.
Yeah, so. I know, but I'm saying, big deal. But I'm saying it's a whole country on itself.
Yeah.
Like literally is.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Also, stop saying you're going to go invade Mexico to fight the cartels.
Stop.
If you want to fight the cartels, you could stop funding them.
Well, that part there.
Hey, even Obama was giving them weapons.
Yeah, Fast and the Furious.
Operation Fast and Furious. First of all, how gay is that? That's Vin Diesel gay. Wait, I didn't let that secret out, did I?
I don't know. I've only ever watched one of those movies, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of ridiculous." So
I've never watched one of those movies because I am not stupid.
Well, I mean, you're a little bit stupid.
Everyone's a little bit stupid, but I am not fully stupid. I'm on a spectrum stupid.
Welcome
Just
to the club,
tip.
bud.
Just the tip. No, that's these people are dumb. I don't get it.
Yeah.
We're down a slippery slope. We're going full speed downhill.
Oh yeah.
I don't care what you
there's
say.
No brakes. There's all gas, no brakes.
No, yeah, that's literally, and that's where we're headed. Something's different now.
Well,
and why we can put our finger on it at the same time, I don't think we can still put our finger on it yet. But it's now different. We said this last week. Even the presidents that I didn't like, I never thought they wouldn't leave.
Yeah. Oh, he's not going anywhere.
No, he's not.
He said it. He said it. That's not bullshit. Like, this is not, stop acting like what he's saying is, some kind of joke or hyperbole. This is how fascist dictatorships work.
Yeah.
This is what they do.
He said it.
And he is following the playbook. You know what I mean? Like, go look up Pinochet or, any of these South American dictators or any of the Middle Eastern dictators. It's all the same playbook. Look up Mussolini, look up Hitler. They all move the same way. And he's doing the same shit, people.
They were all elected too.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
And they can't do it without the crowds.
Nope. And here's the thing. Get ready for the protests when, the economy tanks. And, oh, by the way, now the U.S. military is going to be heavily policed, and they're going to be in your cities and cracking down and breaking skulls.
Order. Which is a violation of the Constitution and posse comitatus.
You know what? It doesn't even matter, though. He's openly defying a Supreme Court ruling.
He said he doesn't have to uphold the Constitution in an interview when he was asked directly.
It's in the oath of office when you fucking take it. How high is this guy when he? Oh my God!
And and to be fair, it's a very simple oath.
Yeah. Do you vow to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America? Pretty fucking self-explanatory.
And do you do you promise to protect it from enemies, both foreign and domestic, including yourself? These people are.
He's owning the libs. I'm losing my rights. This is great.
These people are stupid, and unfortunately, because of MAGA voters, I don't even mean Republicans, because there's a difference between a Republican person and a MAGA.
I don't think Republicans exist anymore.
Probably not, or they're such a minority now that might as well not exist. But they don't exist. And what we have now is a sinking ship.